Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. I want to especially thank Senator Klobuchar for her interest in helping us out and kind of understanding the challenges that our local businesses are facing, our small business owners, as we head now into an extended, protracted period of strike in the NHL. The challenge for us as local leaders and business owners has been that you get a word out of New York that something is going to happen and we're going to break and we feel like we can get our folks back to work, but then all of a sudden you see what happened yesterday where you kind of just wonder what the heck is going on out there. But as we had a press conference earlier this fall to really talk about the fact that businesses were going to be struggling and businesses were going to be hurting, and we know for a fact that that's the case. And now here we are several months later, and our businesses have lost anywhere from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending upon the size and scale of your business and how dependent upon you are with hockey. And it's a challenge. What I appreciate in the senator is her recognition that we have to do everything that we can to support our businesses. Our number one goal would be to get them back playing and get our arena filled up, get our businesses filled up. But in the absence of that, trying to figure out what are some solutions that we can come up with to assist our business. And we have Nancy Lebersky from Small Business Association here, and we greatly appreciate her participation this afternoon, as well as some other guests that we'll introduce. But at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Senator Klobuchar.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor, and thank you for your hands-on leadership. I know how much this means to St. Paul, and we all know that hockey is a way of life in Minnesota. We love the Wild. We want them back playing. But I think people don't often think about when they miss a game, it's also a lot of businesses are missing a lot of revenue, and it means that we're missing jobs. And we're here today to really talk through that and figure out what we can do on the federal level with the Small Business Administration, which has been involved in this, not just in Minnesota, but in other states as well, to help some of our small businesses. Mostly of course, our number one goal is to get them back playing. And I was just talking to Kevin and Joe, the great owners of the Eagle Street Grill here, about how their hopes were so high yesterday afternoon, and hoping that they could tell all the employees that you're going to be back, because you've had to lay off, is it 32 employees? Is that right?
It's about two-thirds.
Two-thirds of the staff in this beautiful, beautiful place. And we also are going to hear today from Greg McLeod from Innovative Office Solutions, a different side of it, by supplying a lot of the office equipment and supplies for businesses and for the Wild. And you see there's more than just bars and restaurants. It's important that is and obvious that is. In fact, we have here Miyoko Amori from the great sushi restaurant near here. Where are you, Miyoko? You were here. She was here earlier, right over here. Right? Yes, I was just mentioning you. And so little do you know that our hockey players love sushi, but this is a true fact. So we know the immediate impact with the restaurants and the bars, but it's more than that. It is all of the equipment that goes into the games. It is all of the people that work at various places. I think the average fan, you get about 18,000 fans when you fill up the arena, and they spend an average of $50 each when they come to St. Paul, and that's why it's not that far off to say it's $900,000 a game in losses for the city, and 900,000 losses in revenue. Matt Kramer, who sees that entire picture from the St. Paul Chamber, can fill us in on that. I think our last message is going to be, as we wait for this lockout to end and for the Wild to play again, is to come to these places. We'd like the people of the Twin Cities to frequent some of the bars and restaurants that are around the ice rink here, so that we can really get people, keep these businesses strong, because we know the Wild are going to come back, but in the meantime, we want to keep the businesses strong that rely on the fans coming in. So with that, I think we'll just turn it over. Maybe Kevin and Joe want to go first. This is your place. It's beautiful. And maybe when I leave, I'll put a shot in my coffee cup. It's really quite a feeling after being in Washington all week. But,
You'll be falling off a different cliff.
Yeah, I'll be falling off a different cliff.
We can't sell that to go, though.
Okay, all right. No, I would never.
First off, thank you, Senator and Mayor, for coming down. We really appreciate it. And what this will do for us, not just Eagle Street, but all the businesses and all the cities around, to have the awareness brought up of what we're going through. And it's like you said, it's not just bars and restaurants. It's the babysitter that used to babysit for every home game you went to. You know, it goes deep and far. And so whatever we can do, Joe and I, we've been working really hard at just raising awareness to the players and the owners so that they know this isn't an NHL/player situation. This is affecting vast majority of the nation. When people are normally out spending money buying the jersey because they want to be excited for the game that they're going to go to, there's a lot of trickle-down business that comes into our restaurant. It's not just the game days, you know, and the gift certificates that would be sold to give as a gift for the hockey game, and so
Especially during the holidays.
exactly.
I remember I got to do the announce the game was starting, the drop the puck thing on New Year's Eve, and just how many people were there and how many people were around just last year. So it's probably very hard at that time as well.
Yeah.
Joe?
I think what Kevin was along the lines is just it's very challenging, very difficult when you've got to let 2/3 of your staff go and look them in the eye, and they've been with you for a long time, and you have to say to them, you know what, we don't have work for you right now. And especially in this economy, it's very challenging, and you get emotional about it because they're part of you, they're like family to you, and they're not just people that have been with us for, you know, a day or 2 days. They've been with us 2, 3, 4 years. And it's very hard to look them in the eye and say, you know what, you got to go find different work. We don't have jobs for you right now.
You know, I think one of the challenges in St. Paul that we oftentimes don't think about is the Wild, through their games, are bringing 800,000 people into downtown St. Paul. And for a lot of them, it might be their first visit to St. Paul. They're from out of town, they're from outstate, or they're from somewhere else in the metropolitan area. And when they come into downtown St. Paul, they're not only having a great experience with the Minnesota Wild and the X and Eagle Street, but they're also, it's a chance for them to see the Science Museum, the Children's Museum, and get that sense of, hey, there's some other things here in downtown St. Paul. We're losing that opportunity. I'd also allude to something Joe said. You know, people have said, is this a different situation than the first lockout back in 04-05? The answer is absolutely. There isn't a business out there that after 4 years of a recession has gotten as lean as they possibly can. And so all of a sudden now, when you lose 25% of your business, or you're faced with a situation of having to deal with 2/3 of your staff not having jobs, there are no other opportunities for them. Or I should say, there are limited opportunities because everybody is running as lean as they can. It's a very different situation than 6, 7 years ago.
Well, if I can just emphasize once again, you know, the Minnesota District Office of the Small Business Administration is ready, willing, and able to answer questions for small businesses. Our phone number is 612-370.
He's available.
2324. You know,
Put
and
up on the screen.
SBA.gov/MN. We're there. We're there strictly to help small
Right.
businesses.
And I will say Nancy has been here for really since I've been in, and during the worst of the downturn we worked together, and I think having that stability is good. She knows her staff and knows who's here. Well, I think we've gotten some practical ideas here, knowing that won't solve everything, but for the short term. And we've certainly got the message of trying to advocate as strong as we can to get this thing done, because sometimes I picture those people in the boardrooms negotiating, and here you are in the bar room trying to sell some beers. So they've got to get their act together.
Maybe
All
that's
right.
what we should do.
What?
Have them come down here and negotiate over drinks.
That's what I think. Get a little shot in their coffee.
You have a thought.
This is SBA worthy.
I'll buy the
You
first
know,
round.
that's being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and
It's already set up, so.
I think the other thing that comes out of this is these incredible business people we have here in St. Paul that are willing to do everything they can to stay in business and to keep employing people. So thank you for doing that. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, thanks.